Welcome back to Talk Property to Me. My name is Brad East, and today I've got Aaron Downie here from Mackenzie Buyers Agency, originally based out of Sydney, but now back up in Newcastle. I've worked with Aaron now for a number of years. He actually was going to join me at one stage as a broker, mortgage broker, and then went down the path, I guess, as a buyer's agent instead. So welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So today, I guess what we're going to talk about is something that we get asked all the time, and that is, when is the best time to buy an investment property? I hear it all the time. What about yourself? Like, is this something that you get a lot?
Yeah. It's, there's a lot of common questions out there, but that's probably
The number
top
one.
five, definitely.
Yeah, I get it a lot. You know, especially the last couple of weeks with the interest rate talk again. Everyone's starting to now start thinking, oh, do we wait? I think they're talking rates might go up again this year, and all these dramatic things. What is your answer to that? When is the best time to buy?
When is the best time to buy? I think there's a lot to unpack there. But I think that really what people need to understand is that if interest rates are the main concern, we can look back through history and see how the property market's performed
During those periods.
And, you know, interest rates are just one factor, so it's not one thing that you need to rely on.
Yeah. Now, have you ever seen anyone in your time as a buyer's agent, have you ever seen anyone successfully time a market? Or is it just pure luck, do you think, if they do?
I think you can look back and say that you have timed a market, whether that's true or if it was just luck, who knows? But definitely people are buying in, say take COVID, for example. You know, you could look at all of the media online, and the economists were predicting markets to fall.
I think it was about 20% at one stage.
20%. There was a lot of people that purchased during COVID.
That was, look, I remember first week of COVID, I think when we first went into the lockdowns and all the lenders did the the repayment pauses.
Yeah.
The conversations in the media at that point were property prices are going to drop 20%.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go into negative equity. No one's going to have jobs.
Yeah.
We're ruined.
Yeah.
So what happened that year?
You can look at that as a result. That's just a prime example.
Yeah.
That's timing the market.
I think it's definitely an education thing as well.
Yeah.
There's an old saying around, like, what is it? Buy when everyone's selling and sell when everyone's buying.
Correct, yeah.
And that has stuck in my mind for a long time. And when all that panic set in at the start of COVID, me and Kirsty, the wife, we went and bought a block of land.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I just saw it as the competition's out of the market.
Yeah.
Let's go buy something. Now, that block of land we bought for $532, and within 12 months, it had gone up more than 40%.
Yeah. And again, just looking at that scenario where people say interest rates are the biggest indicator or the biggest dictator for property growth, I think, arguably you could turn around and say that the actual supply and demand dynamics in a market is a more important factor than interest rates.
100%. Well, in my case, definitely was.
Yeah.
There was literally, they and the people selling the property were talking about how they'd had, weeks prior, 20, 30 people looking at each individual block.
Yeah.
COVID hit. That's when I popped up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was me.
Yeah.
They had it advertised for $580. I knocked 50 odd K off it.
Yeah.
Well, they actually wouldn't accept the 50K. We argued at $530 for a while.
Yeah.
And, in those, well, you're a buyer's agent, when you're negotiating and you just kind of feel like a bit of an idiot because you're arguing over $2,000.
Yeah.
The developer's going, nah, 532. And I'm going, nah, 530. I ended up just going, what are you doing, Brad? Just buy the bloody
thing. Just buy it. Just offer him the money.
Yeah, $2,000. I'm like, if that makes him feel better about it, then happy days. But yeah, bought it at that price and never looked back. Literally, have you, I know this is a bit of a dumb question, but I can't remember any of my clients that have bought a property during, let's just talk about in a time frame and gone, geez, I wish I bought later than I bought. I wish I waited 12 months.
Yeah. Look, we can track it back even to, the most recent times with the boom generally for the market, and especially the New South Wales market. We saw significant growth through 21, 22, and then we saw the market come back a bit, roughly 10% New South Wales wide in 2023. But I don't think anybody in 2022 or 2021 are regretting buying at the top.
God, no. Because it's not the top of the top.
No.
It's the top at that moment.
It's recovered, and now their borrowing capacities may be reduced, and they potentially couldn't get into the market at this stage.
Yeah, arguably people should have been, I guess, maximising their portfolio while borrowing capacities were so high.
Yeah,
because your average, like as an example, first home buyers. I had several first home buyers that I guess pulled the pin during COVID.
Yeah,
and that wasn't their fault. That's the media telling them it's a bad idea. Yeah. It's the parents, don't buy now. The property market's about to crash. I had one couple that were pre-approved at 850 during COVID, like just on that moment. Like, all of a sudden, no, that was last year, 2023. They said, we're going to hold off just to see what happens in the property market. They came back maybe 6 months ago and they're now looking at prices around the 650 mark.
Yeah.
And good luck finding something at 650. If they had just pulled the trigger, nothing bad would have happened. You've got a property. And the biggest thing, I guess, people need to understand as well, it's not like shares where the value of it does change daily. With property, it is only worth that when you sell it.
Yeah.
Do not sell it if you don't want to.
And we shouldn't be tracking property prices daily.
No.
It's a long-term asset, and I don't think, unless you're flipping property, I haven't seen a property investor come into the market for capital appreciation and sell within 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
It's
not worth it.
No, not at all. Transactional costs, it's the biggest thing with property. So
stamp duty, LMI if you're going in with low deposits.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I'll be proven wrong if someone wants to throw it in our Facebook group, but think of an opportunity or a time in recent history where it's been a bad time to buy. Like I cannot think of one.
We can track the market back. So if you look at the data back to 1995, and you could probably go back even further than that. But if we look at the data, and it's actually a good graph, and you might be able to put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
But the only market to go back to its original figures over the last 20 years is Perth.
Yep.
Every single market since then has grown.
But Perth had very big dip, didn't it, at that point?
2000, so the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
The early 2000s to 2005, it grew by 70%.
Yeah.
It's just returned back to its 2005 levels. And ultimately, I think that's dictated by iron ore prices.
Yes.
And wage increases.
Bit of a side conversation, but are you recommending Perth?
I'm not.
It's a controversial topic, that one.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are. I try to sit on the fence as much as I can with the property side of things.
Yeah.
Some things I agree with, some things I don't. It worries me, I guess, any market that's quite volatile like that and reliant arguably on a single industry. But yeah, again, happy to field the hate we get from that comment.
I think it might be a conversation for another day, but I think the Perth market is a hot topic and worthwhile speaking about.
Yep. Let's unpack that in a future episode. Let's look at I'll do all my nerd stuff and look at the local economies there. And I love my spreadsheets. But the Perth. So Perth's out, but yeah, you said you couldn't think of a period, that people wouldn't.
Not at all.
I guess wish they didn't purchase in. I guess the most common one for me that really holds up these processes and really slows down people purchasing is when mum and dad get involved.
Yeah.
Do you find that even in your space as well?
And I think you can just relate that to anything, right? So, it's that old saying, if somebody's not where you want to be, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
If mum and dad or, the media, if they're not where you want to be, then don't listen to them.
Yeah.
So, just be cautious, I think, with who you take property advice from.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. And there's very, I guess, conservative minds out there as well.
Yeah, correct.
And I think it's a lot of it comes down to that tall poppy sort of syndrome as well. People don't want to stand out.
Potentially, yeah.
Oh no, we'll just buy the white picket fence house and we'll live in it and we'll live a comfortable life.
Do what everybody's doing.
Yeah, fit into the mould.
Yeah.
But look, I think mum and dad get involved, especially in the property buying process for us.
Yeah.
And it goes wrong.
It just complicates things.
And it also happens with the finance side. I had a young couple quite a while ago now. I sat down with them. I did an hour-long first home buyer presentation with them, told them the ins and outs of what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say the lender, but I picked XYZ lender. And I sent them all the stuff to sign. They went away. I thought everything was all good. Mum and dad had a really good relationship with XYZ branch lender, and a little Kathy down at the branch.
Yeah.
So they've sent the mum and dad have sent the kids down there to go speak with, we'll call her Kathy.
Yeah.
They're always a Kathy or a Julie.
Susie.
Yeah. Typical branch lender names. So they've gone down to speak to Kathy, and she's put the application together, lodged it up. They, in the meantime, were told by her that, they'll be fine. No, there will be no issues with your finance. It'll be fine. It's all good. And then they got declined in the middle of a cooling off period.
Yeah.
What they didn't realise was there was a few things that I probably would have got them to close and change in that period.
Yeah.
Before we lodged it through. So don't take advice from your parents when it comes to this.
Look,
limited advice.
Maybe they were best off going to Kathy.
Straight up. But I wasn't able to help those couple, unfortunately. They'd already gone down that road. I can't undo their application at that lender.
Course.
But I'm sure they got there eventually. But the other thing that I see a lot of as well is people that go to the effort of getting a pre-approval. So we see it all the time. They'll come in, they've got the capacity, they get the pre-approval. There is literally nothing stopping them buying.
And then they're priced out of the market.
But they don't buy.
Yeah.
Fast forward 3 months and they're going, can we extend it for another 3 months?
Yeah.
And then towards the end of that 3 months, they're saying, there's nothing available.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, you think about that as a compound loss.
Yeah.
Over a 30-year period.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a spreadsheet in front of me, but I'd love to do that. Where that let's say they've lost, I don't know, an 8% growth in that 1 year.
Yeah.
Let's say it's $1 million house, 80K doesn't sound like much. It is, but doesn't sound like it much. But then if you extrapolate that over a 30-year period, that 80K will equal, a few $100,000 after 30 years because of the compound growth.
Yeah.
That's what people need to understand.
Correct.
Compound growth and a year difference. I will actually put this in a spreadsheet and we'll do it in one of our episodes. But the difference in that compound growth over a 30-year period is massive.
Yeah, massive.
It is something that you need to take action on now.
And
do not wait 6 months. Don't wait 12 months. You are the sole reason that you haven't purchased yet.
Yeah,
exactly. The market is the market.
The market is the market. And you can't outsave the market.
No.
I've seen so many people recently over the last 12 months. They had the borrowing capacities to purchase at $1 million, $1 million round figure, and now their borrowing capacities come down to 650, 700 grand.
Yeah.
So they either don't purchase or they need to realign expectations, or they say that they're trying to save a bigger deposit to then go and purchase more in the future. You can't outsave the market. So the market's been growing. The New South Wales or Sydney property market's grown 12% over the past 12 months. 12% over 12 months. You will not outsave that market.
You can't.
You can't.
Who saves that amount? No one does.
I don't think people earn that amount.
No. So it's as I said, I see it all the time. If anyone's listening that has a pre-approval in place and you're agonising, just go out and buy.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Whether you use our help or you do some online courses or whatever you need to do to get it done, you just go out there and buy something.
Correct.
Follow those fundamentals. There's so much education out there, including this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, if there's something you're not sure about, ask us. But the key is buying as soon as you can possibly buy.
Yeah. So, and that's a great segue to go back to the question at the start. When's the ultimate time to buy? Or when's the best time to buy?
About a year ago.
20
years ago.
I think you can categorize it. I think it's a pretty loaded question, and you can't be specific with the information that you give to people. But speaking broadly, based on what we've discussed, it's if you've got the capacity, or if you've got the deposit to get finance, you can service debt ongoing, and you've worked out what your short and long-term investment strategy is, ultimately that's the best time to buy.
Correct.
So, and then it's just, combining the information that they receive, like you said, through educational sources, to go out there and purchase in the location or the property that they want to buy.
Yeah, and there's two different things really, isn't it? It's the owner-occ versus the investment, and both of them, it's the same answer.
Yeah. Well, it is, because it's number one on that list, like I just said, the establishing your short and long-term goals.
Yeah. And that first home or that first investment property might not be your forever home or your forever investment property. Look at the block of land I bought at Catherine Hill Bay. Fast forward 4 years, I hate driving from there to Newcastle every day, and I'm selling it.
Yeah. It's a vehicle to get to where you want to be.
Correct. There's no way in hell I could have afforded to buy where I'm buying now 4 years ago. Yeah. A lot changes in that time. Yeah. But there's no way in hell I could have generated the wealth from property that I did in that last 4 years without buying 4 years ago.
Yeah.
If I had just been saving and going, I'm going to keep saving until I can afford to buy where I can afford to buy, I would never be buying in that suburb this year.
And look, the rent vesting strategy, it's been a familiar strategy for a lot of people in most of the capital cities, especially Sydney, because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Now Newcastle's starting to get more expensive. It's becoming familiar here.
Oh, 100%. Good luck buying a $500,000 property in anywhere in Newcastle or even Lake Macquarie.
Two-bedroom unit in Wall's End.
I actually get shocked sometimes now with the borrowing capacities. Literally, I'll get a couple or a single, especially singles. Might have a single that's earning 90, 95K per annum.
Yeah.
I throw it all into the servicing calculators, and they can afford a $450,000 property.
Yeah.
You add some HEX in. I know that's a hot topic at the moment. You add HEX or help debt or whatever they call that.
Yeah.
You add in a couple of credit cards and a zip pay and an afterpay, and you're buying at $450 on 95K.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So overall, I guess the answer to that question is buy as soon as you are able to.
Yeah.
Figure out what your goals are, long-term, short-term. Build a plan out, whether it's, owner-occ first, or whether you rent and buy an investment, whatever that is, get yourself to be able to purchase that first property ASAP.
Yeah.
If that means you have to buy using lender's mortgage insurance, do it.
Exactly.
It's a cost of purchase.
Yeah.
Don't wait to avoid paying $15,000 in lender's mortgage insurance, because that, we talk about it, let's just call the $1 million property again.
Yeah.
8% growth or 12% growth.
Yeah.
You paid $15,000 in lender's mortgage insurance, but you've missed the opportunity.
You've reclaimed that in 12 months, in less than a month.
The opportunity cost is actually, what's that, $105,000 at 12%. Exactly.
The first investment property I purchased, it was at a 95%. Sorry,
95 LVR.
98% LVR with the LMI capitalised.
Yep.
It was essentially like a $14,000 deposit that I put down. And I reclaimed those costs within a few months.
Yeah. So you do, and it's a cost of purchase. They use that for your capital gains calculations and stuff like that in the future.
Yeah.
Again, speak to your accountant. Don't take my advice.
Exactly.
Don't sue me. But that's it for today. Thanks for jumping on, Aaron. In the next few episodes, as we've talked about, we are going to, dive a little bit deeper. Let's do that Perth episode.
The Perth market. I think another big one is investments or strata titled or Torrens titled properties.
Yep. So units versus land. Houses. Another controversial topic.
Yeah.
And new versus old. All those great ones. So tune in over the next few episodes and obviously beyond that as well. But yeah, we're going to dive really deep into some of these topics. And if anyone has any suggestions for topics or something that you want to have explained in a bit more detail, jump on our Facebook pages or Instagrams and send us a message or email us. We're both very contactable.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Great to be here.